Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats.
From proof of concept short to Kickstarter campaign or Indiegogo, whatever you call it, to movie to sequel on Netflix, this business is evolving faster than most of us can keep up with it, and I love it. And guess what? If you're within the sound of my voice, that must mean you're in the seats with once more. As always, my name is Dave Voigt, and I'm the host of this podcast, where we sit down with a wide-ranging variety of entertainment industry professionals, and we pick their brain about current projects, state of the industry, how they got started, and so very much more, in a light and in a conversational fashion. And if you like how we do things around here, I'm going to go out on that limb and assume that you do, because, well, you're listening. And if you are, keep listening. Hit that subscribe button as well. Mash that like button. Give us the old 5-star rating on your podcast provider of choice. It all matters. We can find us pretty much everywhere. Places like Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, and plus we archive every single one of our episodes over at our In the Seats YouTube channel. So if you can give us a like and subscribe there as well, we would absolutely appreciate it. Also, don't hesitate to check us out on the social media, the Facebook, the Twitter, the IG, are we still using TikTok after this whole thing with China? I mean, I don't know, but we're at a lot of places at In the Seats for all sorts of fun updates. And finally, and I do dare say most importantly, please pay us a visit over at In the Seats, intheseats.ca for all the latest and greatest from the world of film, television, basically the moving image at large. Because guess what? If we love to watch it and write about it and talk about it, we love it even more when you come by and read about it and listen about it. So do us that kindness and please pay us a visit. On this episode, we're talking about a new movie which is on your Netflix provider, your service. Now it's Code 8 Part 2. It is the continuing adventures of this universe, and it's a lot of fun. And if you don't know the story of it, really, it's basically the cousins. They're cousins, they're not brothers, right? But Robbie and Stephen Amell, they got this story together, and they made a short film, which turned into an Indiegogo, which turned into a feature, which Netflix really loved, and Netflix made a second one. And it's just an amazing example of just sort of the evolution of the film business and how stuff can come from literally everywhere. It's the story of a little girl who's fighting to get justice for her slain brother by some corrupt police officers, and she enlists the help of our favorite ex-con and former partner as they face a highly regarded and well-protected police sergeant that they know too well, who doesn't want to be. And I mean, it jumps right back into the Code 8 world, and it's really a excellent little piece of sci-fi thriller. And I mean, I really enjoyed the hell out of it. And in celebration of this film's release on Netflix, we had the unique pleasure of talking with co-writer and director Jeff Chan, as well as one of the stars, Alex Mallari Jr., about making of the film and just sort of the evolution of this universe, and so very much more. But like I said, go check out Code 8 Part 2 on Netflix now. But first, enjoy our talk with Jeff Chan and Alex Mallari Jr., because between you and me, it's a darn good one. All right, well, guys, obviously, just to kick this off officially, just thank you both so much for the time today. I mean, congrats, man. Code 8 Part 2. Love it.
Oh, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Now, I mean, Jeff, I guess my first question is for you. I mean, because it's like this movie started out of such a fever dream with the campaigns and the funding and all 9 yards. Walk me through, I guess, the early days of, getting to be like, oh, we're going to run it back. We're going to do Part 2.
It was interesting. It kind of... it was always something that we would have loved the opportunity to do, mainly because working on Part 1 was just so fun. We got to make it with friends, with family. Yeah. So when it started to do well on Netflix, that was definitely great to see. And it was great when we finally got the call from them saying like, hey, we'd love to explore this. So when that happened, I think for me, Rob, Chris, Steven, we all hopped on a call together, and we were like, I mean, if we get the chance to do this again, that's a no-brainer.
Love it. Now, yeah. I mean, obviously, I love the fact that it didn't sort of force feed another story. It sort of extended the universe a little bit, and we got to revisit characters like you as well. I mean, from both your perspectives, like, talk to me a little bit about being able to jump back into this universe. Because, I mean, again, as actors, as storytellers, it's not something you guys get to do every day.
No, I was really excited when Jeff gave me a call and said, hey, we're going to do a movie now. And I was gonna do some other role.
Really?
Yeah. You had me for, I think it was Sorelli at first.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And then he was like, Jeff being the visionary that he is, he's like, I have an idea. Do you want to try for King? And I said, yeah. After reading the script, there was no way I was not going to try for it. And so I did. And King was just a dream role to tackle. And the writing made it so easy to make him look as badass as he is, man.
I will say on the first movie, we had that scene together.
Yeah.
And you had a great read. I met you on that day when you came in, and immediately I could tell there was something really special about you. The energy and the presence you brought to set.
Thank you.
I remember at the end of the day I came up to you and I was like, that was really good, man. Thank you for giving me and giving us the movie that.
Oh,
so it was just, it kind of like, I think it
Wow.
was really your performance from the first movie that kind of seeded that idea. And even working for that one day, it really kind of stuck with me, or those 2 days.
Jeez.
And on the second film, as we were going through the roles, like I was like, yeah, I need someone who's like just really strong and can stand up to the guys. And the more I thought of it, the more clear it became. Like, you would be such great. We would so lucky
That's
to be able to
how
have
it went
you.
down.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know that.
course.
See?
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's such an evolution too, because I mean, obviously, you get to sort of grow into being this sort of scene-stealing heavy, which obviously any actor worth their salt wants to be able to play. Like, was it fun for you to really sort of lean into it? Because you definitely have a couple of moments in the film where it's like, okay, he's having fun with this. We can tell.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Jeff creates a very fun work environment, and the amount of creative freedom he allows is, if he trusts you, is immense. And he knows what he wants, and just being able to act with him as the director, it was that part was a dream come true. It's not every day you get a director that gives you that sort of freedom and yet still guides you to make sure you don't stray away from the storyline too much. So yeah, that was wicked, man.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. No, I mean, my job, when it came to working with Alex and our cast, it was a dream job. I think, you have that vision, but it really takes, you write the words, you imagine it, you block it on the day.
Yeah.
It's not until I see you and the other cast members inhabit the characters do I realize, oh my gosh, this is actually going to work.
Yeah.
Because as a filmmaker, you never know. You show up to set, you best laid plans, but you and everyone else, like you were the guys who bring it to life.
Yeah, it was great because the community, everyone was there with this sense of passion. Like, we all believed in this film.
Yeah.
And that was the great part about that set.
No, I mean, something I got to ask you about is because obviously the visual effects are great, and specifically the dog. There is such fluidity of motion in the dog, and I mean, it's just the fact that it's not this sort of clunky thing is kind of terrifying in and of itself. Walk me through just, I guess, trying to give this creature like this real feel to it.
That was definitely like one of the big challenges of this movie. It was the thing that's one of the big things that scared us going to this because we were trying to pull this off. And kind of the thing that we knew we had to do was create something that was both friendly, cute, at times playful, and at other times terrifying. And it the credit really belongs to our visual effects team, Play5 VFX, and our leads on that side, Sophia and Brian, who like from the very beginning worked to kind of crack that problem. And the great thing about like our movie is that the way departments work in our movie is everyone's has known each other. They worked on the first movie together. They've gone back years and years and years. So the collaboration between visual effects, lighting, set design, production design, it all works seamlessly. It's a very high trust environment. So I would love to take credit for that, but really it goes to the crew and the team around me that are much smarter and more talented than me when it comes to that stuff. So I'm just lucky that it turned out as good as it did.
Absolutely love it. Now, I mean, Alex, I gotta say, man, I miss Dark Matter in my soul. I loved that show so much. But I'm curious because, I mean, with stuff like that, the Resident Evil stuff, the Code 8 series now, it feels like Toronto in Canada has developed its own little niche for dystopian science fiction. I mean, I'm kind of curious, from your perspective, why do you think we as performers and actors seem to be embracing that genre a little bit?
Because we're good at it. I think we're really good at it, and I think we truly enjoy it, and we find the fun in that sci-fi world. Yeah, speaking of dark matter, would love to see that one come back. Hey, I think Toronto's just a great place for it, and we have the talent to showcase in that world.
For sure. For sure. Now, Jeff, I'm curious because, obviously you've worked with the brothers before, and, you produced a bunch of stuff. I saw Float. I actually really enjoyed that.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
And, I'm curious, like, from your perspective as, like, a filmmaker and a producer, how is the business really evolving, especially with the story of Cody, which, like I said, you guys funded on, was Indiegogo or something like that, and it all sort of evolved from there. It really feels like there's more of a more, I guess, democracy in the marketplace. Like, the cream will rise to the top. It allows for the cream to rise a little bit.
I think for me, the big thing the kind of the rule that I've really tried to kind of go by is work with great people and people who are on the same mission as you. I think this is a business that is built on such collaboration. It's not something that one person can do. This film is really the collaboration of hundreds of people coming together and building it. So I think when a group of people really kind of set forth to do a mission, they can kind of go a very long way. The business is changing very quickly. There's a lot of things right now that are very uncertain, obviously. But when you have friends and collaborators, like Alex and like some of the people I've had the privilege to work with for many years, it feels a little less lonely, and you can just focus on making good work. And that's kind of the constant kind of thing that I try to go back to, because if you try to think about all the things that could go wrong or go right in the business, you're just gonna go crazy sometimes. So just focus on trying to make great stuff with great people.
Well, absolutely. Like Alex, Alex, I'm curious because obviously I know you've got a little bit of martial arts background, and you're not afraid to sort of jump into action sequences, and that's something again about this film I really appreciate. Like, when there's something going on, you can tell it's not cut to the stunt guy. It's like, no, you're actually doing it.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of curious, for you as an actor, like, is that an important thing to be able to sort of throw yourself into, or do you sort of have to sort of self-navigate and go like, okay, no, I'll do up to here. Over here, that's the stunt guy,
Yeah. To each their own. I'd like to do as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because it gives the director a lot more freedom when they're editing. That way they can always cut to your face, and that helps me as an actor as well.
Totally.
But there are some moments where safety is the issue.
Yeah.
And therefore, you got to protect the production at the end of the day. We don't want to add more days that we don't need to add, and so there is a cut point where it's like, okay, now someone else needs to take over. But I will push as much as I can.
No, I guess that begs the question: how has sort of the idea of production sort of evolved on your end? Because again, from indie film to now Netflix production, it's a bit of a jump.
You know what? I will say, and this is a testament to how great of a partner Netflix was on this movie. Mm-hmm. When we sat down and talked to them, like, we were like, hey, the big thing for this is, like, we just want to make it in the same way and the same vibe as we made the first film, and that meant working. Big Thunder, sorry. That meant working with the same people from the first film, and also meant kind of like having a bit of space to tell the story the way we felt confident to tell it, and they were just so great about that. So I would say in many ways it was just kind of a very similar version to the first film, but
right.
A little bit more resources, a little bit more support. Definitely more support from them that Netflix. Again, the support they provided us throughout the entire production was so helpful. But in terms of the vibe and the feeling of making it, it was kind of like it was very similar to how we made the first film. It was like, hey, let's get up there, let's show up. And it didn't feel bigger or smaller in the day. It just was like, hey, let's do great work and make a great movie.
Yeah. Well, and it's the proper use of resources too, as well. It's like you're not shoehorning in visual effects or explosions or this, that, or the other for the sake of it because you can.
No, that's a great for us, and this is a big part of this is our lead writer Chris Pare, who's my producing and writing partner. Our discussions were always like, hey, every action beat has to be earned.
Yeah.
It's we for us, we really look at this film as a thriller first and foremost. So it was all about kind of building the stakes and that tension kind of brick by brick.
Totally.
And then when we were finally able to pay off the action, that's where, we can have fun and we can have the visual effects and the stunts and those type of things. But it was always to serve the story, as opposed to just be those beats by themselves.
I think that's why I love both these movies, because again, it's one of those things where the beats are earned. Every moment is earned along the journey of the story. And I'm curious for both of you, not only as filmmakers, as actors, as storytellers, but as fans. Like, what were those first movies sort of in this kind of genre, in these kind of worlds, that made you go, okay, they're doing it. They've earned it. Like, I appreciate what they just did.
Oh, man. Within the sci-fi world?
Yeah, or even thriller, or, like...
Thriller? Seven.
Yeah,
Usual
totally.
Suspects.
Totally.
Yeah, that was it for me.
Cool.
I think for me, I had this great memory of my dad. He bought a Laserdisc machine. I don't know if you remember that, but a Laserdisc machine.
Totally. Yeah, you dated me. I'm that old, so yeah.
Yeah, and then he would go down and in 1 week he rented the Star Wars movies on Laserdisc and Space 2001, Kubrick's movie. Yeah. And I remember that 1 week he was just like, he introduced me to sci-fi. And that really kind of, like, I was very young, but that really blew my mind in terms of what was possible. And those were two movies that I think serve the genre so well and are such inspirations, but they're very different. So it really gave me a sense of what was possible in science fiction, and so that credit really goes to my dad for kind of opening up my mind up to that.
So cool.
And I mean, something else about science fiction as well, like, no matter what world you place it in, either be, something current or dystopian or futuristic, there's this room for a little bit of social commentary as well, which I think you guys do here in both these films. But I'm kind of curious, like, what is it about sort of the genre world that allows you sort of the freedom to say something? Because, I mean, again, if this is something more straight ahead, you don't necessarily have the rope to sort of make, a statement, commentary,
It's interesting, like, I actually think it's a great canvas to explore contradictions that we see every day, but we just kind of accept. The second you can kind of add a little bit of a genre spin to things, you can play with those contradictions in a more visual way. In our story, institutional power is represented by science fiction elements,
right,
like robotics, AI,
right,
that kind of stuff. And, people are represented, with a little bit of power genre. So that was kind of like our conceit. But the idea was always to tell an intimate personal story first, something that was from the point of view of the characters, where every character felt like they were doing the right thing and that they were the hero of their own story. So yeah, for me it's a great setting and a canvas to explore questions that I think are kind of like right in front of us every single day.
For sure.
As opposed to, for in this project, it's not just about the genre elements alone. Yeah. That's not what kind of drove us. It was really about kind of the characters and those questions.
Yeah.
I mean, just to wrap it up, is there a trilogy? Are they going to go to space?
Yeah.
Where's it all going to end?
Where do we go?
No multiverse yet. But,
Okay.
It would be such a privilege to be able to work with the team and with everyone, and this has really been, someone asked me, what would your dream movie be? And I'm like, I think this has been the one. Mm-hmm. So to be able to continue this journey would be a dream and a big privilege, and hopefully people can receive this one well. And if there's an opportunity, to kind of continue exploring the world and the universe of Code 8, like, I would love that. For sure, we would love that.
You heard that. The universe of Code 8.
I like it. Yeah, I like
Right?
that. I like it a lot.
I heard that too.
But I mean, guys, honestly, just congrats on the good work. I can't wait for more people to see it. Obviously, it's hitting Netflix imminently. And just again, I get congrats on the work. And thank you both so much for the time today.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
So much.
All right.
Yeah, thank you.
And don't forget to visit our friends over at Bay Street Video for all your DVD, Blu-ray rental, or purchasing needs this summer, as they are still open for curbside and some mailing delivery as well. Over at 1172 Bay Street, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. You can give them a call at 416-964-9088. That's 416-964-9088. Or send them an email at baystreetvideoto@gmail.com for any of your DVD and Blu-ray needs.